Hi, welcome to another episode of Her Story Hour. As you can see, for those of you that are avid watchers, we're not in my car today, we're actually in the flat. And sorry about the lighting, it's so dark and dingy outside. The weather in the UK has been, for the last couple of weeks, especially today, it's so freezing. I cannot wait to just put my hoodie on after I've recorded this. But yeah, we're not in the car because I had to plug the laptop in, so sorry, technology, hey. But it's good for me because I was going to say it's actually warmer here than in the car, but it might not be because this flat is as cold as anything. So yeah, look, this is why you can see my nose being red. I've just been outside. That's how cold it is. But yeah, another episode of the pod. We're on a roll. Today, we're going to be talking about like confidence versus arrogance type of thing. But before I actually get into the episode and tell you when we talk about all of that, let me just tell you what actually inspired me to make this episode. Now, obviously, by the time I posted this, it's going to be a couple of weeks later. But for those of you that are watching Love Island All Stars, you'll know about what's just happened this week. So basically, Grace, the lovely Grace, who we're going to be talking about quite a lot, is coupled up with Luca, and obviously there was just to fill those of you in that don't watch Love Island, Grace and Luca have been together for a few weeks. Seems like they're getting really close, things are really cutesy, going well. And then there was a girl that came in, Sammy, who her and Luca have got some sort of, not history, but it's always been openly known that he's fancied her, she's fancied him, but obviously he's in this really good thing with Grace. So it comes to this challenge where they've got to do dares. It was like spin the bottle or something. And then Luca actually went out of his way to ask Grace, what happens if I have to kiss someone, basically, like what should I do? And she said, I don't know, kiss anyone, but not Sammy. Anyone but her. It's good of him to ask what she expected from the situation. But then it does land on him, he has to kiss someone, and he actually just goes to kiss Sammy. Big disrespect in my eyes, because first of all, I wouldn't be happy if you're going to go ahead and kiss that girl anyway. But secondly, the fact that you even asked me and then you've ignored what I've said is even bigger disrespect, and I don't like that. Now, online, there is a lot of controversial opinion about Grace, because she told him, after Luca kissed Sammy, he sat back down and he realised that she was in a mood instantly, and he kept trying to talk in her ear all the time. So she said to him, shut the F up. And there's a lot of controversy, people saying that she's, what is it called, controversy? I don't know. There's a lot of different opinions, should we say. Some people are saying, like, she's wrong, she shouldn't talk to him like that, that's so rude. But other people are saying, well, good, like, she shouldn't stand for the disrespect. And my stance is, yeah, I agree, good, she shouldn't stand for the disrespect. And that is the thing. I watched a video, I didn't even watch last year's Love Island when Grace was on it, and I watched a video of her on YouTube, and someone was talking about how well she held herself, how she didn't take any rubbish, and I agree. This is what actually made me watch last year's series. I watched it late because I wanted to watch Grace. That's the only reason I watched it, because I wanted to, I don't know, it's so rare, especially on Love Island, because most of the girls on there, no offence, because I'm like it too sometimes, don't have a lot of confidence to the level of they can stand up for themselves and not take rubbish. So to actually see a strong, empowered girl, like, not putting up with the disrespect is so good, because normally on Love Island, they're disrespected and then they'll either keep going back and trying again, or they're going to be sitting there crying over them. Like, it's always the same sort of storyline on Love Island. I've never sort of known about well, there is a few, I suppose, but Grace is like the most recent one that we've seen. And I don't know what it is about her, but you can just see by the way she acts and the way she is, the amount of confidence that she has in herself. And that led me to question the difference between confidence and arrogance, because that's something that I've always struggled with my whole life. I've always been on the less confident side, but always been a bit worried of showing any form or sign of confidence, because I'm worried about coming across arrogant or too over cocky or confident in myself. First of all, let me just say that actually there is nothing wrong with being cocky or confident. Well, we'll get into it more, but there is actually nothing wrong with having confidence in yourself if it actually is true confidence. So just to think about the difference between arrogance and being confident. So someone that is confident won't even have to think about if they're coming across arrogant, because guess what? If you're confident, then it's going to be coming from deep within you. Truly believe in yourself, and you don't have anything to prove. Whereas if you are sort of arrogant, I suppose the whole point of it is you want to get approval from others. You want to gain approval from others. So a lot of the time you're going to be comparing yourself to other people and contrasting yourself to other people in front of other people. I was trying to think of a good example from this year's Love Island of it, but I couldn't. Because, like, say someone who is arrogant is just going to believe that they are the best. They're not really going to listen to anyone else, and they're going to be more showy off and more comparison-like. So, and it'll get into like the pettiness and the bitchiness. That's the sort of thing we would see on Love Island when people are not really kind to each other. Is when you realise who the people are that are arrogant, because they're not kind towards the other girls. They have to make comparisons against themselves and the other girls. Whereas when you look at Grace, she doesn't ever do that. She's a very she's very much a girl's girl. And even when there's another situation where another girl's involved, she isn't nasty towards them. I've not seen her be nasty towards anyone. She says it is what it is. She can have a conversation with them, and she is polite. She isn't disrespectful or rude. She stands her ground. She puts down her facts and her boundaries, and she doesn't let anyone cross them, because if someone does cross them, then that's it. She isn't going to put up with it. And like this year, with the situation that I just explained about that happened with Luca, she was direct with him. She told him what was wrong, and then he then put the situation right by apologising, admitting he was wrong, speaking to Sammy and letting her know where he was in his head. And now the situation is fine with Grace. And I think that's such a good way to do it. Like, the thing that a lot of people go wrong with as well is by crying or dictating or saying you shouldn't do this, you shouldn't do that. It's almost telling someone what they shouldn't be doing, and showing your lack of confidence within yourself. And by doing that, it's going to push them further and further away. But with Grace, she didn't say to him, you shouldn't do this, you shouldn't do that. She just said, I don't like when you do this, etc., because it is crossing her boundaries and it's not respectful of her. And that's another thing I wanted to point out as well. Like I say, she's always friendly to the other girls. The people that lack confidence in themselves, the more you realise what it is all about, the more you realise who those people are. And there's nothing wrong with that. I'm sure we've all gone through a phase where we're not confident or we don't particularly like things about ourselves. But yeah, I just thought I would try and collaborate some sort of tips to help you feel a bit more confident. I believe, like I said, I've not always been the most confident person, but as time's gone on, partly for me, I think it's just come with age and learning about myself and learning different things, learning that not everything I see online or in magazines, because back in my day, I say back in my day, lol, not that I'm that old, but I mean like early 2000s, I was growing up with like glossy magazines and I thought that was all real. So learning in my head that stuff is not all real has helped me to gain confidence in myself. So yeah, and I'm not saying that I'm completely 100% confident now. What I am saying is that I am more confident, and there are things that you can do to make yourself feel more confident. For example, recognise your good qualities. So I'm not just talking about appearance, I'm talking about inside as well. In terms of physical aspects though, when I used to look back, I used to absolutely, I'll be honest with you, I used to tell myself I hated myself when I was young. That is disgusting, and when I look back, I feel so sad that I even felt like that about myself, because like me then, there was nothing, even me now, there's nothing wrong with me. There's absolutely nothing wrong with you. Every single person is different, and that's the purpose of life, isn't it? Like partly, like we're all different and we all have something different to bring to the table. So celebrate the things that you're different in. So in terms of appearance, to end up liking myself or not feeling super bad about myself, I just had to basically fake it till I made it. So I started off by telling myself all of the things that I liked about myself. Now, I would say pick 3 things physically that you like about yourself. I'd say pick 3 physical things, 3 internal things, but we'll talk about the other internal stuff in a minute. But just thinking about appearance, pick 3 things that you like. I would pick my eyes. I think my eyes are lovely. I'm probably like the best thing on my face, in my own opinion. Everyone else might have a different opinion. But then also, I picked like 2 other things that I like about myself. And first of all, those other 2 things that I picked, I wasn't particularly confident about them. I didn't particularly believe it, but I faked it until I made it. I kept telling myself every day, or not every day, but most days when I would look in the mirror, how much I liked that part of my body or my face. And then in the end, I ended up actually liking those things, because where it comes from is the negative self-talk, where you're talking yourself down and saying you don't like things. It ends up that you start believing that so wholeheartedly that you end up hating yourself. So yeah, start there by practicing thinking about those kind of things you like. And then in terms of internal things, like I feel like that's kind of a lot easier than the physical aspect, because I don't know if for me it was anyway, because like I say, I've seen people that just don't look like me in terms of, I'm not saying, I don't know how to describe this. I'm not saying I ever thought I was ugly, but because I am not a conventional beauty standard, because I've never been like, say for example, when I was growing up, it was like the really slim girls were in fashion. I've never been like that. So therefore, I thought something was wrong with me. So for me, the physical aspect of things was a lot harder. But when it comes to like personality, it's kind of hard to judge, because I could think I'm so hilarious and I'm so funny, but someone else might not. But then again, that comes with a beauty, because that's like the whole beauty of it. Because some people are going to find me hilarious. Some people are not going to find me funny at all. Like, if you don't get me, you don't get me. Like, that's just about finding your people and the people that you should be around. And if if you don't have the same humor as someone, it's not really the end of the world, but maybe they're just not your like actual people to be around. I'm not even just saying about that, like you must have so many other amazing qualities. Like for myself, I can say I'm kind, I'm good at listening, I like to problem solve and help people. Like, yeah, I could say so many positive things about myself now, which I never used to be able to say. Even just like, if you're really struggling on things, your good qualities about your personality, ask friends and family, or do a Google search and see what other people think are their best qualities. And then I think slowly but surely, you're going to pick up on the fact that in fact you are like that and you have got those good qualities. Also, it's not even just about like personality traits as well. It's also about things you are actually good at. So are you good at baking? Are you good at singing? Are you good at dancing? Are you good at making music? Are you good at doing like creative things? I don't know. There's 101 million things that we could be doing, and you're probably good at 1, 2, maybe more of those things. And trust me, I know it's hard to figure that out, because if you asked me again a while ago what I was good at, I wouldn't be able to tell you. I would not have a clue, because I would just say I don't have any hobbies, I don't know what I'm good at, but I think it just comes through trial and error. So yeah, pick out the good parts of yourself is basically what I'm trying to say. Next, just build positive relationships, yeah? Make sure you are around good people and people that build you up. There's no point being around people that are going to tear you down or make you feel rubbish about yourself or not to be supportive of your goals. And I'm not even saying supportive, but just don't tear you down about it. Like, you need to be around a good group of people, because if you're not, they're going to be feeding you negative energy and you're going to take that on, and then that's not going to make you feel good about yourself or confident in yourself. And also, they do say that it's like a reflection, like the people who are around is what you're going to become. So if you're around positive, confident, happy people, generally speaking, because we can't all be happy all the time, then yeah, that's what you're going to be and that's what you're going to reflect. Just make sure as well that you are kind to yourself, because again, that's a whole key of confidence. When you're, like I was saying earlier, when you're nasty and you're beating yourself up and saying horrible things to yourself, how are you ever going to feel good and confident about yourself? You're just not. It's not going to happen. So what was said about Grace, I was going to say learn to be assertive. So she is assertive and she knows her boundaries and she knows what she will and won't accept. And she's not telling people not to do things. She's just telling people what's going to happen if they don't. So she's going to step out of their lives and they won't be a part of her life. That's it. And with the boundaries, start saying no. Don't say yes to everything. Like, I think I said this before. I can't remember if I spoke about boundaries on my podcast or my main channel, but I think it was my main channel actually. Having boundaries is so important, because me putting boundaries in place has really helped me to have a sense of confidence in myself, because by not having any boundaries and letting people walk all over me, that's me essentially saying to myself that I do not have any trust in myself. And if you do not have trust in yourself, you can't have confidence in yourself. So to put those boundaries in place is like so much bigger than you think it is, because by knowing exactly what you will or won't tolerate, you're telling yourself that you are worthy of whatever it is that you're expecting, which gives you the confidence. And also, I was going to say, maybe step outside your comfort zone. Do things that you wouldn't necessarily believe that you can do. Challenging yourself will actually build your confidence up, because you're telling yourself, oh, I can't possibly do this. But once you've done a challenge, you think, oh my God, I'm actually stronger or better than what I believe myself to be. And if I can achieve this, I can achieve anything, sort of thing. Yeah, that is basically what I wanted to say. Yeah, basically what I'm trying to say is don't be the mean girl. Like, it's so good to be confident in yourself and fully know who you are. And you know what? It actually is a process. You're not just going to get there straight away. If you're approaching with your best foot forward all the time, then that's all you can do. Feel the need to put other people down, because that's another point I wanted to make actually, is whenever I have, because I try really hard not to, only human, but whenever I have said something nasty about someone behind their back, or I've said something horrible to someone, which I try not to do, I can't think of too many instances where I've been nasty to someone, but when I have, it's come out of a place of my own insecurities or my own jealousy or something like that. So just before you say something or act in a certain way, maybe think and check yourself as to where that thing is coming from. And it could be like food for thought and something that you need to work on within yourself, which is fine, because none of us are going to be perfect. But yeah, just be kind to other people, be level-headed, be respectful towards others, and just focus on you and what you are doing, and putting all that energy and love into yourself, and making sure that no one will overstep your boundaries. Yeah, I hope that you have taken something interesting from this. I can't really give a full story of myself because I haven't fully reached that level where I'm fully confident yet, but I'm just doing some of those things and basically faking it till I make it. And today I was very proud of myself because I've just been to a a party. It wasn't like an adult party, it was a kids party, but there was adults there obviously, so the kids, sometimes it's worse, isn't it? Kids go off, adults sit here. I'm now an adult, so I'm now an adult like I haven't been for the last like 10 years of my life or more. But then it's a challenge to me to sit there and have to talk to them, because it's like, well, what do you talk about? But today I felt very relaxed, because I don't know what it was, but I sort of walked in with a confidence. I didn't overthink and catastrophize. I don't know how to say the word properly, but yeah, I basically didn't overthink before I went in. I went in knowing that I am a good person, I'm nice to talk to. Like, I just told myself all these positive things about myself, and I was okay. And yeah, sometimes negative thoughts still creep in, like I think, oh my god, they think I'm boring, I left early, do they think I'm rude? All those things. But at the end of the day, you just got to own it and have confidence in what you're doing, and know that you're putting your best foot forward and doing the best thing. Actually, when I walked away, I was like, you know what, this is actually me. I've come here, I've shown my face, and now my boundary is, like, socially I've had enough, so I need to step away. So yeah, that's it. But yeah, thank you so much for listening, and I hope that you actually did enjoy the episode, and I will see you in next week's episode. And as I always say, don't forget to follow or subscribe, whatever it is, depending on what platform you're listening or watching on. If you are on YouTube, don't forget to click the bell notification so you can get a notification whenever I post a new episode. But I do post new episodes every single Wednesday, so come back, have a listen, have a watch at what is going on, and yeah, I'll see you then. Okay, thank you for listening. Goodbye. Be confident in yourself.